Welcome back to Global CEO Magazine. If you have been following our channel, you know that we bring to you conversations with business leaders in Sri Lanka who are dedicated to making a change in their respective industries. So today we are sitting with Mr. Lasantha Bogoda. He's the Director and CEO of DMS Software Technologies Private Limited. Thank you very much for joining us here today, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. So without further ado, let's dive right into the questions. So in the past couple of years, Sri Lanka faced a lot of challenges, a lot of hardships with the pandemic and the economic crisis. And it's very important to keep up with these challenges and the changes that are frequently happening in the market. So although Sri Lanka faced a lot of challenges in the past few years, we saw that your organization successfully navigated these uncertain times. So what leadership strategies have you implemented within your organization to make sure that your organization moves forward?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. So to answer your question, actually you're correct. So we have been going through during last 4.5 years or 5 years since, I think especially in Sri Lanka since 2019, we were facing different challenges, economic and the pandemic related challenges. So we've been in the IT field, actually the information technology, DMS software technologies. If you don't know about DMS software technologies, actually it's an organization which has almost 5 decades of history, right? So it helps us to basically stay in this kind of environment because our organization as a whole, we have faced many challenges since 1970s. So to answer your question, actually, what sort of strategies that we have enforced in terms of the leadership? One is we have seen during the economic crisis. So it's about before the economic crisis, it's about pandemic. So it's about clear-cut communication to our employees. How this pandemic, because no one had any experience about the pandemic at all. So then what we did was actually, first thing is the clear communication to our employees, what is happening around the world and how we should basically support our customers in this kind of environment. Because in our organization, we support a lot of mission critical customers across the Sri Lanka, plus some of these companies in the global. So it's very important for us to have this clear communication to the employees going. And the other important strategy that we implemented was actually to be very firm about our decision regarding to implement certain supportive structure for our customers. Because not only customers but also employees, because especially during the COVID time, we have seen a lot of people are getting sick and there were a lot of uncertainty being created during that time. So then we created our own supportive culture to our employees. It helps us to support our customers eventually. So that is some of the strategies that we have enforced during these two kind of challenges that we have faced.
Wonderful. So still on the topic of uncertain times, the business world is ever changing, and your industry, the IT industry, I think it moves even faster than the other industries. So it's very important, like I mentioned earlier, to keep up with these challenges, and innovations and adaptations, adjusting to these trends in the market definitely help when it comes to keeping up with these trends in the market. So we'd like to know what innovations or adaptations have you made in your organization to keep up with these changes in the market?
So as I first told you, so we are from IT industry. We have to always be in this innovative culture. So some of these the important innovative strategies that we have adopted during this last few years was actually to embed with the global companies, because we work with some of these global brands like Google, Oracle, Salesforce. So we basically get the experience and try to translate into our companies some of these innovations that they have done. We try to localize it and promote it to our market. Actually, that is one of the strategies that we have enforced. And the adaptation is very important, because during the crisis time where we have never faced, and especially I think from the local and global point of view, the pandemic is something very new to everybody. After 100 years it came. No one knows how to basically support in this kind of environment. So we get our employees to adapt to this environment where we keep train our employees how to basically face this kind of challenges. So we got a lot of expertise from the industry, not only from locally but also from the global point of view, and to educate them and how to get themselves adapted to these kind of a strategy. So one of the adaptation strategy we did was actually continuous training, and the innovation strategy is actually, so we got a lot of global companies who has experience and who has done a lot of research about these kind of situation, how to face these challenges and what are the new things that we can implement during this kind of a situation. For an example, so if you look at the companies like Zoom, so during the COVID time, their revenue has gone up, and all the online related the strategies have basically been adapted to a drastic level. So we embed all these different structures to our customers and employees within the organization. So these are some of these things that we have done during this difficult time. So coming back to the economic crisis, it is something kind of a I think for Sri Lankan point of view, it's something, it's not for the whole global actually. It's specific for Sri Lanka, even though it was faced by many countries across the globe. Our problem is different. Our problem was different. Then we need to maintain. We actually had to maintain some of these. The employee retention is one of the very important things during the economic crisis in Sri Lanka, because everybody knows people have started migrating from Sri Lanka, which is very challenging for our company. So the adaptation strategy that we embed during the economic crisis was, we start recruiting a lot of interns, scholarship students to our company, and gave them a kind of a sustainable plan, at least to be in the company for 5 to 6, 10 years. So that actually gives us a lot of kind of the strong message to our customers, where even though people are migrating from the country, so we as a company have the sustainable strategy to support them. So those are the strategies that we have, the innovation and the adaptation that we have done during the economic crisis and the pandemic.
So during these uncertain, unpredictable times, yes, strategies are important, but implementing proper leadership within the organization is equally important, if not more important. So what do you think are some specific leadership qualities that one should have if they are to lead an organization during these uncertain times?
It's very, very important question actually, because in this kind of uncertainty, the leaders has to be very strong. And people are watching at them, because everybody is uncertain, right? So if you are a leader, so first thing is actually not to panic, right? Because if you get panicked, the whole organization would get panicked. When the whole organization get panicked, your customers would get panicked. So first thing is actually, even though we had a Easter Sunday attack in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, then the whole pandemic came into the picture. So we as a team, actually not as an individual, but as a team, and for me being a CEO of the organization, first thing is actually we didn't panic, right? We had a strategy. One thing. The second thing is actually, so we need to be very firm on our decision, and it should not be like situationally we have to get adjusted, but we can't just change our decision, keep changing our decision. So we were very firm and we didn't get panic. We are very firm with our all previous experience, very, very firm on our strategy, how to continuous our support to our customers, plus how to retain our employees. Those are the two very simple tactics that we follow during this the pandemic and the whole crisis time actually.
I think it's easier said than done, yes, because it's very hard to not panic during these times of uncertainty. So I think that's something we all should keep in mind, not to panic, not just in the business world, but when it comes to anything and everything that we go through in our life. So if we come out of the IT industry, Mr. Bogoda, if we look at the business world in Sri Lanka in general, how do you see it evolving in the next 5 years? And what do you think will be the key factors driving success and growth within the next 5 years?
Yeah, so the next 5 years, I think we are just coming out from the economic crisis. Still, certain things yet to be resolved. So that is, I think, one of the biggest challenge that Sri Lanka as a country would be facing during next 5 years. So, but we have seen actually the as a company, right? So we are working in the field of information technology. Plus as a country also, the next 5 years, what I can see is actually, so we need to have a very sustainable strategy within the country. And what I can see, there are a lot of innovation things would come into the picture. So, but we need to be very careful and be very selective. What are the things that we can adapt it to Sri Lankan market? Next 5 years, in my personal opinion, I can see it's very challenging for Sri Lanka. So, but however, I think we can see we have a very good younger generation coming up, and we need to get them trained and get them educate about what is happening. And plus, we need to basically get them to stay in Sri Lanka, and we need to make sure that there is the country would help them to basically grow their future. So with that, I think next 5 years, in my opinion, it's very challenging. So it's not for CEOs because we can see certain parameters. Like for us, we work on the field of IT, plus we work on the software import business as well. So the exchange rate, so the foreign currency fluctuation has a many different challenges that we have faced. So that's what I said. It's very challenging next 5 years. Whatever the strategies that we are going to adopt, it has to be very firm strategies. Plus whatever the global, because you can see, especially not in Sri Lanka, because we are part of the global, the world, right? So there are so many issues are happening across the world. There are global wars happening. So the next 5 years, it's going to be very challenging in my view. So we need to, as an organization, I think as an organization plus as a country, we need to have very stable strategy to face those challenges, because we have our own problem now in Sri Lanka. Plus, unfortunately, our neighboring countries are also facing the same challenges. So we need to be very, I would say, we need to watch what is the other country's strategy also, and the geopolitical strategies would also basically help us to grow our businesses plus the country. This is what I can see.
So in your answer, since you touched a little bit on the global context as well, as my final question, I'd like to ask you something related to that. So when you take the global context, how do you plan on making sure that your company stays competitive while balancing the local and the global challenges and the opportunities that you get?
Fortunately, DMS, we have started our global operations as I would say 15 years ago. So just even before, like 10 years before all these crises. So the crisis arise. So we have established our companies in Singapore and Australia, Ireland. We have office in Bangladesh, plus in the Middle East based in Abu Dhabi, and the Australia based in Melbourne. So what we did was actually, so we started strengthening those companies during the economic crisis in Sri Lanka, because we have seen because Sri Lanka has to be export-oriented country in going forward to bring the lot of foreign revenue to Sri Lanka. So how to basically face the local challenges, how to retain the local employees and go to the global is one of the biggest challenge that everybody faced it actually. What we, as I mentioned in my previous answer, so what we did was actually we got the young talent to the country or to our company. So we trained them, we gave them a lot of scholarship, and we make sure they are going to retain in our company. So since we have the global structure in our group, DMS group, So that helps us basically to promote our business to those countries and the region. So what we did was actually, as a part of the globalization plan or DMS, or rather how to go into the global, we start using our global companies, and we make those entities as our marketing engines, whereas we provide the resources, train them locally. So, and we started basically getting them going to those countries. Currently also we have started our businesses in Maldives. Anyway, we have a successful operation running, and Philippines we have successful operation running. So we get the local team, get them trained, and give them the opportunity to go into those countries. On that way, actually, they would also not migrate. They can earn good income. When they go to another country, it will be a different experience. Plus, they will get the money also to their hand. So, I would say on that way, to a certain degree, we were trying to help the country also to retain the young talent, especially the IT talent, which is kind of they have the global reach. They can go anywhere in the world if they have the IT knowledge and the IT the literacy. So, but we as a DMS, what we did was we somehow trained them and gave them the global opportunities while they are retaining in Sri Lanka. So that is kind of the strategies that we have adopted in part of our global strategy.
That's wonderful, Mr. Bogoda, because what you usually see is you get the training, most employees get the training from their companies in Sri Lanka, and then they go to another country. So it's wonderful that you have implemented a strategy like that. And that brings us to the end of yet another insightful discussion on Global CEO TV. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Lasantha Bogoda. It was an honor to have you here with us. So we hope that the insights that you got from this productive discussion, we hope that you can use it in your life, and we hope that it helps you inch more and more towards the pinnacle of success. So subscribe to Global CEO Magazine for more exclusive interviews with industry leaders. Thank you for watching.